always from the heart of the city, and now on demand 24/7 on the CHFI website. This is the soundtrack to What Gets Spilled. And I'm Don Jackson, around the world on the internet. You might remember the nursery rhyme about Jack and Jill, who went up that hill to fetch a pail of water. They both came tumbling down, and I would imagine they spilled the water as well, even though the rhyme doesn't say as much. An adage says that we shouldn't cry over spilled milk either. And this from the Korean poet Yi Kyubo from over 1,000 years ago. A mountain monk coveted the moon. He drew water, a whole jar full. But when he reached his temple, he discovered that tilting the jar meant spilling the moon. This hour, it's not the water we're concerned with, as much as salt that gets spilled. And other things, too. Hope you're not too superstitious. With Lovers and Other Strangers from iTunes and CHFI.com. Fleetwood Mac and a song about a Welsh witch, supposedly Rhiannon. Romantika and Fantasie and the Beatles, Eleanor Rigby sweeping up the rice in a church where a wedding has been. I'm Don Jackson with Lovers and Other Strangers from iTunes and CHFI.com. This question appeared in the It's a Fact column in the March 01 issue of the Reader's Digest. And I quote, "After spilling salt, why do we throw a pinch of it over our shoulder?" Tossing a pinch of salt is a counter-charm to the bad luck invited by spilling it. Some folklore says salt falling towards you represents anger. Others call it an ill omen that portends quarrels with friends or family, or the imminent breaking of a bone. In one precautionary tale, the spiller actually dies. Myth dictates that every grain is a tear the spiller will shed. Truly superstitious people will have trouble following the directions stipulated by different sources over the years. Salt spillers are instructed to throw a bit over their shoulder into the fire, to do so before anyone speaks, to say, "With this cast, may ill luck pass," as they throw the salt, to toss with their right hand over their left shoulder, then to make the sign of the cross with what's left, or to aim over the head. One account says the action is intended to blind the devil who lurks behind the spiller. Perhaps salt spills are considered unlucky because legend gives salt healing power. Salt in fire counteracts witchcraft. Some laid on a platter placed on a corpse's chest keeps its ghost from walking about. Babies treated to a pinch are safer, and a dash in the first milk given by a cow after calving keeps the drinker from harm, unless she is a witch. Unquote. Some interesting superstitions from the March 01 issue of the Reader's Digest. Lovers and Other Strangers from iTunes and CHFI.com. Lady Antebellum and Need You Now, and Amanda Marshall and Marry Me. And I'm Don Jackson with Lovers and Other Strangers from iTunes and CHFI.com. And don't get me wrong, but water does play a role in the hour. This was written by an unknown author, and I quote, "My grandfather took me to the fish pond on the farm when I was about 7, and he told me to throw a stone into the water. He told me to watch the circles created by the stone. Then he asked me to think of myself as that stone person. You may create lots of splashes that will disturb the peace of all your fellow creatures," he said. "Remember that you are responsible for what you put in your circle, and that circle will also touch many other circles. You will need to live in a way that allows the good that comes from your circle to send the peace of that goodness to others. The splash that comes from anger or jealousy will send those feelings to other circles. You are responsible for both." That was the first time I realized each person creates the inner peace or discord that flows out into the world. We cannot create world peace if we are riddled with inner conflict, hatred, doubt, or anger. We radiate the feelings and thoughts that we hold inside, whether we speak them or not. Whatever is splashing around inside of us is spilling out into the world, creating beauty or discord with all other circles of life. Unquote. What we spill this hour. And it's not always salt that causes problems for others. Lovers and Other Strangers from iTunes and CHFI.com. Sarah McLachlan with Angel, Paul Anka with Peter Cetera and Hold Me Till the Morning, and Billy Vera, At This Moment. And I'm Don Jackson with Lovers and Other Strangers from iTunes and CHFI.com. This is an excerpt from a poem called Beauty as a Shield by Elsie Robinson. And I quote, "A path through a dim forest, hushed and sweet, lit by one amber beam that fell aslant. Foam, silver-laced, along a curving wave, sprawled golden hills with shadows like spilled wine. Lovers and Other Strangers from iTunes and CHFI.com. Diana Krall with Narrow Daylight, and Norah Jones and Don't Know Why. And I'm Don Jackson with Lovers and Other Strangers from iTunes and CHFI.com. This is an excerpt from the April 1996 issue of Glamour magazine's Private Time column. It was written by Sybil Eidenschenk, and I quote, "Although I'm an amateur runner, I've run 3 marathons, and I've come to think of myself as an athlete, not just someone who works out. Running allows me to reserve several hours a week for myself alone. Time when I can concentrate on synchronizing my breathing and pace, and on pushing my body a little harder than I think it can go. The total physical focus gives me a sense of calm that spills over to all other aspects of my life." Unquote. from the April 1996 issue of Glamour magazine's Private Time column. It's Monday, May the 17th, 2010, and I'm Don Jackson with Lovers and Other Strangers. And this, an excerpt from the novel Angel Eyes by Eric Lustbader, a Fawcett Crest book published in 1991 by Ballantine, a division of Random House, and I quote, "Then there was the pool, deep, dark, mysterious, in whose depths, from time to time, could be discerned the speckled back of a lazy koi, like the arc of a curve. The koi's back appeared and disappeared, as full of meaning as the first brush stroke on rice paper, black ink spilled across the white page, a book yet to be written, yet to be read." Unquote. Eric Lustbader from Angel Eyes, a Fawcett Crest book published by Ballantine. Lovers and Other Strangers from iTunes and CHFI.com. Tim McGraw and Live Like You Were Dying, and Annie Lennox and Why. And I'm Don Jackson with Lovers and Other Strangers from iTunes and CHFI.com. We started the hour speaking about salt, since there is a superstition surrounding the spilling of it. We've felt the salt spray of the ocean at times over this hour. One final thought. This is an excerpt from the film Practical Magic, based on the novel by Alice Hoffman, and screenplay by Robin Swicord and Akiva Goldsman and Adam Brooks. It tells the story of a long line of witches. At the film's end are a few great lines, and I quote, "Can love travel back in time and heal a broken heart? There's some things, though, I know for certain. Always throw spilled salt over your left shoulder. Keep rosemary by your garden gate. Plant lavender for luck. Fall in love whenever you can." Unquote. Lovers and Other Strangers from iTunes and CHFI.com. I hope you will tell all your friends about Lovers and Other Strangers. Good night, sweet dreams. I'm Don Jackson.